beat the Washington Wizards 134 to 125. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Raptors Rundown. I'm your host, Yusuf Boss, and in the last game, the Toronto Raptors are able to win another away game. I sometimes wish that these games against these bad teams are at home so we can at least break this goddamn home losing streak, but it's another away win. Can't complain too much about that. But it didn't go without its struggles. In fact, Washington led for most of this game. It was a little bit scary in that first quarter and in the second quarter as well, although we ended the second quarter on a big run to cut the lead to within one. The Washington Wizards were up for a lot of this game, and credit goes to them, to be completely honest. They shot 47% from three today. They were lights out, 16 for 34. Guys like Tristan Vucevic couldn't miss. Jameer Watkins had a great game. Justin Champagnie, former Raptor, was incredible. Keyshawn George didn't miss a three. Bub Carrington didn't miss a three. It was ridiculous to watch. They were shooting lights out from the three-point line. The biggest thing that I noticed from us, though, on the defensive end was how easily we were allowing them to get to the basket. As a team that prides ourselves on being incredible on the defensive end, we were absolutely horrible tonight. Luckily, the Wizards are one of the worst defensive teams in the entire league. So much so that they actually allowed us to score 134 points in this game. We woke up in the second half. That's about it. In the third quarter, we actually outscored them 37 to 28. Fourth quarter, 36 to 33. Second quarter, 36 to 31. So we allowed, I feel like the scoreline doesn't do it justice how bad we were playing that first half, but the second half we absolutely woke up. We found out afterwards from Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett, Darko Rajakovic kind of yelled at the team. Good to know that my coach isn't all buddy-buddy with them and can actually light a fire under them when they need it. I need to highlight one of the best players as of late for the Toronto Raptors, Emmanuel Quickly, who has been on fire as of late. In the past 4 games, he's averaged 24 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds on 55% shooting from the field and 43.8% shooting from the three-point line. I'll also say in this game, this was Jakob Poeltl's best game as a Toronto Raptor since returning. He scored 18 points, was perfect from the field, and missed only 1 free throw, and most importantly, got 10 rebounds. Since returning, his rebounding has been a little bit of a concerning point of emphasis for us because he's a 7-footer that's been getting out rebounded by some of these teams' backup bigs. In this game, however, with Colin Murray-Boyles out, he started against a weak Washington Wizards team and was able to dominate the glass. I feel like this also correlates to how well Emmanuel Quickly has been playing because he helps them a lot. Emmanuel Quickly's biggest trope is that he is unable at times to create his own space. His ball handling skills aren't as good as some of the other elite guards in the East. However, with Jakob Poeltl, his screen setting ability is able to give Emmanuel Quickly that space that he's unable to create by himself, allowing him to get a lot more freedom to shoot the ball, and his efficiency has skyrocketed since Jakob Poeltl has come back. I feel like Scottie Barnes' stat line was deceiving tonight. He scored 18 points, only 4 rebounds and 4 assists. It doesn't seem like the worst game in the world, but I felt like he was absolutely horrible in the first half. It was another bad first half. I feel like he needs to figure out how to be aggressive for a longer period of time. In this game, it was the fourth quarter mainly, where he sort of was aggressive at trying to find his shots, and he was able to score. He was efficient tonight, and I feel like we get the stat line a lot from Scottie, where he has an efficient game, but unfortunately, it's only on 14 shots, in this case, 13 shots. So that's not nearly enough shots for one of your better players. So I think he needs to, I feel like we've had this problem in the past, he needs to get a lot more aggressive over a longer period of time. The other massive storyline, Grady Dick has now fully been taken out of the lineup, out of the rotation, and honestly, I'm really sad about it. Not because it isn't deserved, because trust me, it is well deserved, this benching from Grady Dick, but I felt like this was a player that could have elevated us to a completely different tier. The biggest need for the Toronto Raptors right now is 3-point shooting on the offensive end. Grady Dick is a supposed 3-point sniper, and he just hasn't been that for us. And to be quite honest, it was time, especially with Jacoby Walter shooting as well as he is from the 3-point line. He's a sniper from the corner, which is something that Grady would actually never do. So I think back to some of those games where it's a Scottie Barnes kick out to a wide open Grady Dick 3, and I'm thinking if that was Jacoby Walter, would that shot have gone in? Probably a lot more likely than those Grady Dick shots. So if you're thinking about without playing your minimum contract player in Jamison Battle, I think it's about time to let go of Grady Dick. He's going to be extension eligible this offseason. Don't believe he's getting that. I think next year this offseason is definitely the time that the Toronto Raptors are going to explore trading Grady Dick. That way a team can get his restricted free agency rights if they want to take a flyer on him. I don't know how many teams would be willing to do that because he is a shooter that can't shoot. So he has... Maybe Darko will put him on if we're struggling and we need a different look just to try something new. But to be quite honest, I think Grady Dick needs reps to start shooting well. And he's not the type of person you just put in and he automatically just randomly starts shooting well. He needs reps. He needs time. You saw that last year. The more minutes he got, the better he got. And that's just not feasible at this point in the season. So I think it might be done for Grady Dick as of this point. Next up, we play the New York Knicks, and we are 1-10 against the top 10 teams in the NBA. And we are now on a 4-game losing streak against those teams. So we've lost, I believe it was like 9 of our last 10, the only win coming against the OKC Thunder. And yeah, this is a very important win. This has been a huge storyline for this Toronto Raptors team. I think it is the definition of a fraudulent team, so we need to prove that wrong. At least get one of these wins, for God's sake. I think, RJ Barrett spoke about it in an interview, how it was getting a little bit frustrating, losing to these teams, and I think the key word that has been brought up over and over again is focus. The Toronto Raptors need to have a focused game for 48 minutes. I feel like they'll lose focus, allow the other team to get on a run, and that is where they lose the game. So, huge game with the New York Knicks. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby torched us last time. We will have Scotty Barnes. He's dealing with his quad injury, but he should be good to go. No Colin Murray-Boyle, so that kind of sucks on the defensive end. So someone else is going to have to step up. This is the first time we've had Jakob Poeltl since, I believe, the first matchup against them. So I'm interested to see how that looks, putting him out there against Karl Anthony Towns. And yeah, hopefully we can come out of this with a marquee win of the season. It would be if we beat the New York Knicks. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. I will see you in the next episode of the Raptors Rundown.